All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. Welcome to 24 hours to 36 hours with the iPhone 16. So I've already talked about the iPhone 16 Pro. I will follow up again with that phone and other content. But I'm using the iPhone 16 right now for the last 24 to 36 hours. And I want to talk about some features, some things about this phone that might be a little different than the iPhone 16 Pro in experience, that is. So first off, I gotta say the colors on the iPhone 16 lineup are much better in person than the iPhone 16 Pro lineup. Now the iPhone 16 Pro, the white color and the black titanium, those two colors are the best to me. That desert is just horrible, and the other natural titanium, I could live with that, but that desert titanium is hideous. Now when it comes to the 16 lineup, man, you got some pretty vibrant, punchy colors that are really subtle in person. I think a lot of people, when they see teal in person, they're gonna love that color. And also that pink, I think ladies will love that pink in person. Just the 16 lineup just looks so much different in person than it does on video. It's actually really nice. So the design of this hasn't changed much. Apple took the 15 lineup, moved the camera modules around, and then also with the 16 lineup, to my surprise, you know, they gave the 16 lineup these pro features, if you will. You get the new camera button on here. So a lot of people probably thought this was going to be a pro feature, but in fact, it is on the 16 lineup as well. So ultimately, I have mine set for a double click. So I double click here and it goes straight to camera. Now you can change this to Instagram, QR code scanner, and you can turn it off and you can do one more. I forgot which one it was, but I have mine set to double click like that. And I think that's cool that they gave this so-called lower trim or entry trim to iPhones for the 16 lineup all the functionality of the button, just like they did with the Pro model. I think that's a huge awakening right there for a lot of people, to let you know, you don't technically have to have the Pro model. The camera quality I found is pretty much identical to the Pro model. You just don't get that telephoto lens and you have to use a digital zoom. But other than that, I think overall the quality is nice. It's the same. And speaking of quality, I'm actually recording with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, folks. Took it back on you, using an external microphone, obviously my condenser mic, but the 13 Pro Max is still a great phone, and I will be using it a little bit more on the channel to record some iPhone content and other content. But just looking at the hardware and design of this thing, I really like it. The brushed aluminum sides, you got your action button, your volume rocker, obviously your power button is still the same, and you got your cutouts at the bottom. And then you have the new camera module orientation. It's pretty much all it is. Shuffle these around and you have the same phone from last year. But inside of iOS 18, I'm actually using iOS 18.1 beta. So I have Apple Intelligence, as you can see. So Apple Intelligence is simply just the Siri that you know on steroids. It's ultimately Siri that can do a little bit more and have a better conversation. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Now, I'm using it just to have it do things for me. This is beta, so if you're on 18.1 beta, public beta, you have to be on 18.1 public at least in order to experience the Apple Intelligence. So that's something to take note of. You should try it if you want to. I think you'll be pretty impressed with what it is. So on the front here, you have the 6.1 inch display, which obviously you guys know I like the smaller variants of phones. I do have a lot of large screen displays that I do use, but for daily driving, I actually like the smaller variant of the Pro models, or just smaller phones that are actually really good. And when I think about it, folks, comparing this to my Pro model, this really is a Pro model minus a few things. Like, it doesn't have the high resolution display. It has a 60 hertz display. Battery life is still really good. I haven't charged this in over 24 hours and I still have 24% left. It's good. But anyway, screen size 6.1, beautiful display. And I think you'll probably be impressed with when you start to view content on here. I've got a privacy glass on here, so it'll look pretty good. Let me just show you real quick. Let me see if I can find something real quick here. All right, here is the lovely display here on this 60 hertz screen. This is a beautiful display, man. I mean, it is what it is. It has the same resolution as the previous generations, maybe a little higher, I'm not sure, but it's a good screen, man. Like, I understand some people's complaints about it not having a high resolution display, but it's good enough for what people are going to use their phone for. I think as a matter of fact, I know the only people complaining about it not having a 120 hertz display is the tech community. Regular consumers aren't worried about that. And so when you get this phone here, you're going to say, wow. And when I went to the Apple store to pick up my iPhone 16 Pro on launch day, it was packed over there, man. I mean, the line was down the road. It was incredible. I was able to get in and out within like 15, 20 minutes. They were really pushing people through. Then the next day I went and picked this up, and it was the total opposite. Everybody had gotten their phones. It was still crowded, but there was no line. Shout out to Will. There was no line wrapping around the store, but there was still a ton of people buying the new iPhone lineup. I wasn't counting or looking at who was buying what, but I will tell you that it was still doing pretty well. There was just no line around the corner. So you see a screen like this, and the speakers on here are really good too. Just to get it. So they sold it to him. And I was furious, man. But at the same time, he did me a favor by... Yeah, you'll definitely have no problem listening to content and viewing videos on this phone for sure. It is going to be a great experience, and I don't anticipate you saying that you're upset about it or it's bad quality. I just don't see it happening, folks. I think you'll be more than pleased with this 60 hertz display that's not high resolution either. So hardware is solid. I have no complaints there. Battery life, really good so far. Like I said, I got 24% left, and we are talking about an iPhone, folks. So most iPhones to date can pull down some really solid battery. They can do it. And I think this phone is no exception. Apple just kind of talks about it having this much longer battery life out of it, but in reality, real world usage, you shouldn't have to charge this phone in within a 24-hour period. But I understand a lot of people will just pop it on a wireless charger at night, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to pop it on the wireless charger and just let it charge. And smart charging is turned on, so you have the option to turn on smart charging here. You have the option to turn on your smart charging where it optimizes it to charge to a point, and then by the time it's going to make it basically, like let's just say you have an alarm set, it'll make sure it's at that amount at 100% by the time that alarm goes off. So if you're a person whose alarm is set at 6 a.m. and you go to bed at 9 p.m., by the time you get to 6 a.m., you'll never know the difference. You'll wake up at 100%. Simply put, that's just how it's going to be. So I think that's really nice and it's not something that Apple's doing. That's just phones now. You do the smart charging. It's really good to have, so you don't work the battery and get it too hot too quick, and then it burns out fast. So yeah, battery life on here though is solid. I always said that social media was better on the iPhone in a lot of ways. Man, shout out to JoJo, but I'm sorry, JoJo. That desert titanium is just hideous to me. Anyway, I still like her post though. She's cool. Yeah, because everybody's get a preference. I don't prefer that desert, whatever it is. It's really, yeah, it's not good in person, fellas. I don't think you're gonna like that in person. I'll say it like that. But yeah, overall experience with the phone, the software experience, the performance, everything about it is actually really good. The battery is solid. I just don't anticipate having a bad experience with the phone. I'm using an iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 16 Pro, and the iPhone 16. And like I said, I'm recording with the iPhone 13 Pro, but I'm also using the Pixel lineup. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using not only that, man. Okay, Sammy, Samsung fans, I got you too. I'm always on one of my Samsung phones, and I use the S24 Ultra every day because it's a phone number, it's a SIM card in here, so I got to use this when I got to make calls and stuff. But I'm pretty excited with the experience that I've had so far with the stop it, I'm already paired up with the experience with the iPhone 16. It mirrors the iPhone 16 Pro. The battery life is pretty much the same in my usage so far. The performance is the same. The only difference is the price. This costs a lot less, and I think that's going to be the only difference for me. You might see it differently. Your experience may be different for you to buy both of these phones, but to me, price just comes down to it. And that's why I said I'm surprised. And I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be a pro phone feature, but Apple shook it up and gave it to this lineup. So the question comes to mind, why did I buy the 16 Pro? Yeah, the color choices on the 16 lineup, like I said before, are better. The performance is the same. The video quality is the same. The photo quality is the same. Everything's the same. You just got a difference in price. That's it. So I don't know how this is going to be in the long run, but we're going to find out because I have the 16 Pro and the 16, and we'll see how they do over time. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoy. First impressions are down, and I think this phone is probably going to be a hit. It's like this every year. The 15 lineup is probably the more logical choice, but everybody goes for the Pro models for their own personal reasons. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.